Self-love is a regard for one's well-being and happiness. Therefore, self-depreciation is when one is critical of him or herself. We want to transition people out of self-depressing behaviors by introducing a healthy way to burn off insecurities.
The purpose of the white card is to symbolize the purity, innocence, understanding, and protection that embodied us as young children before depressing thoughts creeped into our minds. Some teenagers in the world can fill out an entire white card back and front without spaces, so we left no limit on how many insecurities they wanted to burn. Next, we handed out lighters to people so they could create their own fires. Prometheus was imprisoned for giving fire to man, creating a God dependent link between man and gods. By having everyone create their own fires, they are breaking away from society and gaining acceptance for themselves.
Laura Hamilton said there are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. Her insightful comment refers to depression that creeps into each generation earlier and earlier, to the suicide thoughts that, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, plague nearly 17% of students. Depression is defined by a multitude of symptoms, often making a definite diagnosis difficult and causing others to subconsciously look over the symptoms via confirmation bias. The tendency to search for information that confirms one's preconception as defined by the 8th edition psychology textbook.
Teachers and parents alike will use confirmation bias when their children are presented with several issues that give off a lazy or disinterested disposition. However, modern medical technology allows us to see that depression manifests biologically to produce physical reactions via chemical imbalances in the brain.
Depression is higher in teenagers nowadays because everyone is so much more connected in this modern technological society than ever before, which makes words more available to hurt each other. Teenagers now, compared to teenagers in the past, have access to nearly everything the internet has to offer, and they also post freely without thinking of the consequences of their private posts, which can lead to them being taken advantage of. Teenagers are exposed on technology to social media that distorts reality into scarcely obtainable fantasy.
Teenagers need guidance from adults and professionals to understand their bodies, since they are still young children who haven't even lived half their lives yet. Everything psychological is biological, so teenagers need professional help in order to understand how the chemical imbalances can affect their moods against their will and cause adverse behaviors to occur against their will. Adults also need to overcome their confirmation bias when serious situations arise in order to help the teens and prevent depression from either reoccurring in the future or staying consistent throughout their lives.
Teenagers in this generation are the most at risk for suicide and depression, which are not just environmentally influenced but also biologically influenced. Therefore, by creating this event, we want to inform the public on teenage insecurities and how those insecurities can lead to suicide.
My brother, I'm still soft.